So Tulsi Gabbard has announced that she's running for president, and I find this very interesting. Like the Elizabeth Warren thing, like no big deal. We know she'll probably win the nominee or the nomination. She'll probably be the one running against Trump in 2020 as the Democratic candidate. Like no surprises there. She basically seems, in my opinion, a bit less corrupt version of Hillary. I think the average person, she looks a lot like Hillary. They remind her of Hillary. And it's just not going to be good. But Tulsi Gabbard's different because I don't know quite how to describe her. As I'm someone that, I consider myself center right, like conservatarian, I suppose, conservative libertarian, something along those lines. But when it comes to Tulsi Gabbard, I wouldn't vote for her. I will say that I'm not going to vote for her, or at least I don't plan on voting for her. It's obviously super early, and things could change, but if I had to vote for a Democrat, like if any Democrat had to win the next election, I would prefer it be Tulsi Gabbard. She is the least objectionable candidate, and not because she's right-wing. She's not even really right-wing at all. I can't find many issues where she's even close to being right-wing. It's just that I can tell she's very principled. I can tell that regardless of what she thinks she is, or what her opinions are, does appear to be a very principled person. So it seems that pretty much the left wing is stuck with two types of people. They either have to support like the far left candidate, an open socialist, an open identitarian, someone that is like a Bernie Sanders type, but I guess maybe more ideological. I don't know. They either have to pick between the ideologue that's pretty far to the left, or they have to pick the corrupt politician, the corrupt career politician, the Hillary, the Elizabeth Warren, the Joe Biden type person. I'm pretty sure their positions depend entirely on electability. I question whether they have principles or whether they're just partisan hacks. I don't know, but that's how it seems to me. They seem to be quite corrupt. And Tulsi Gabbard provides, I suppose, a third option for people who hate both. An actual candidate that I can see that, these center-left people that are sick of the Democratic Party, I can see them coming back to vote for someone like her, which is scary for Trump, because if anyone can beat Trump, it's Tulsi Gabbard. Will she? I don't know. But when it comes to, Tulsi Gabbard's not going to win over any right-wingers. It's just not going to happen. She's not going to win over right-wingers because she's anti-gun. She's, pro-assault weapons ban. She's pro-abortion. She's pro-choice. I should say she's pro-choice, not necessarily pro-abortion. But overall, pretty standard left-wing positions. She's voted to raise taxes. She's against repealing Obamacare. Those kind of standard left-wing positions. But the difference between her, at least, is I think she would appeal to a lot of independents, a lot of centrists, even people in the center-left that have since voted for Trump because they hated the Democratic Party so much. They felt so betrayed. The true classical liberals, I can see, even though I would not consider Tulsi Gabbard a classical liberal, I think that the classical liberal vote would tend to go to her more than Trump for that reason. Now, again, I would probably, if I had to pick, I would pick Trump over Tulsi Gabbard. But I do want to go through a few of her issues and a few things that really play to her strengths. Now, will she get the nomination? Probably not. I think they'll pull another Bernie Sanders on her, where essentially it seems like the establishment hates her guts, which means she's going to be screwed over. Whether she has the support or not, she's going to get screwed over in the nomination, and she's not going to win. I think that's what's going to happen. So I suppose there's not much of a threat there. It'll be basically another Bernie Sanders thing, where Bernie was pretty popular, but obviously the whole thing was set up against him. But when it comes to Tulsi Gabbard, what are her benefits? Well, she comes across very principled. For one, she's a woman. I would never vote for someone for their gender or whatever. I would never vote for someone because they were a woman or a man. But let's face the facts. People do that. There are people that say they want to vote for the first woman candidate. They said that's what they want to. That's their claim to fame. They want to vote for the first woman president. So you gotta face the facts. That as much as I disagree with those voters, there are voters that will vote for her because she's a woman, and that's a plus in her book. And they're going to be on the left. So that, as well as Tulsi Gabbard is, when it comes to what is she good on? I mean, she does seem to reject the partisan hackery on the left. She does seem to be a very independent mind. She does seem to be very someone that kind of forges her own path. Someone that has been very fair to Trump is another thing. Someone that when Trump does a good thing that she agrees with, she says good job on Trump. When Trump does something bad that she disagrees with, she says bad Trump. Like when Trump led the Syria strikes against Assad, she criticized him, and in my opinion, rightfully so. When he announced he was pulling troops out of Iraq, out of Syria, she commended him on that. Good. And the rather interesting, actually, just a quick side note. Apparently, she is very Steve Bannon has said good things about her, which I don't know if that helps or hurts her chances for the presidency, considering, are the people that would vote for her fans of Steve Bannon? It seems to me that anyone that is a fan of Steve Bannon probably wouldn't even consider voting for her. But I find that interesting, at least, that Steve Bannon said good things about her, because she does seem to be a populist. Trump was the populist right. If there's someone that's going to be the populist left, it's Tulsi Gabbard. At least that's what it seems to me to be. But I do want to go through, I guess you can say she's anti-war, which, again, what happened to the anti-war left? Well, she seems to be the last one there. I do have the gun control topic I already mentioned. She is pro-gun control, which will not win her any right-wing votes. But again, if we're talking independence, I don't think that's the most important issue to independence. That's something that independents and center-left people will be willing to look over. But here's something I find interesting. This is a tweet from a Charles Lister, which I don't know necessarily who he is. Apparently, he's the senior fellow and director of CEV and CT at the Middle East Institute. But he is, in other words, he's one of the blue checkmark people. And he has gone slamming Tulsi Gabbard. Do you think Assad is misunderstood and the victim of a global conspiracy? Do you accuse America of imperialist aggression and seek to defend sectarian Hindu nationalism? Then this is your candidate for president in 2020. Oh, and Steve Bannon loves her too. So it seems this guy is not unique. A lot of the official left-wing people have gone after her a lot. She is pretty much hated by all the people that hate Trump, which I find very interesting. That's something that one wouldn't normally notice. That it seems like this crowd that just kind of goes Trump bad, Trump bad, Trump bad. Well, Tulsi Gabbard is now running for president, and she seems to be the best chance of beating Trump, and they're attacking her, they're slamming her. And I think that that'll basically promote her, I think that's a good thing in her eyes, that the Democrat establishment does not like her. And that's a good thing for her. The people that are going to vote for her, the independents, the center-left people, they don't like the Democrat establishment. A lot of the independents that went for Trump, one of the reasons they did that was because they hated the corrupt left-wing establishment. And she is apart from that. She is an option. Now, again, this is not this isn't necessarily a plus for me, but you just got to look at this without the political lens of your own opinions, but think about this from a purely what are the people going to vote for? And she is the one option against, for a left-winger that wants a left-wing candidate that doesn't want to vote for someone as far left as Bernie Sanders or someone as corrupt as, the Democrat establishment. So this really is what they've been waiting for, and that's something that's bad for Trump. That's something that's bad for whoever's going to run in 2020. I imagine it's Trump. But this is bad for them because a lot of the independents and that they really need to win, who knows what could happen. Now, something I do think Trump has to his benefit is that he has not been literally Hitler. That I think a lot of the people talking how evil and horrible and terrible Trump is raised the expectations so high that he would be the worst person ever, or I should say lower the expectations, that the fact that he isn't Hitler, I think will make people realize, I was expecting something absolutely horrible, and he didn't turn out to be that, so they see that as a plus. I think that's something that hurt them the bad. Apparently, she is anti-Islam, from what I hear. I cannot tell. I've tried to do a research on this, but from what I can tell, I don't know if she is anti-Islam, but it appears that the left-wing establishment is painting her that way, as anti-Islam, which means she is at least somewhat critical of radical Islam in some way, which is that's a good thing. That's something that will win her a lot of the independent centrist votes. I think a lot of the people that went for Trump, and that's my big point here with this video, is that the people that went for Trump, some of a lot of them are just the plain old right wingers that'll vote for him no matter what, or that'll vote for the right wing candidate. But then there's also lots of people in the independents that like, that wouldn't normally vote for a Republican candidate, that made an exception for Trump, and now I think they're going to be pulled back to Tulsi Gabbard. Again, whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, I'll leave that up to you. But that's something you have to take into account. The fact that she's being attacked so bad. Now, I don't know how anti-Islam she is, but it seems like the fact that she's Hindu might have something to do with it. Like, the Hindus and the Muslims, not a lot in common. A very brutal separation in India and Pakistan. That I think Train to Pakistan. Yeah, Train to Pakistan was a book I read on that, where basically it was brutal. Like the Hindus and the Muslims just separating right along the border there. All the Muslims going to Pakistan, all the Hindus going to India, and basically those two hate each other. So this might have something to do with that. And then you have the Sikhs, who I have nothing against the Sikhs. They seem like very nice people, because you never hear about the Sikhs often. But yeah, that's pretty much it there. I think this works to her benefit. I think she is a very dangerous candidate if you're a right-winger. And that doesn't mean you should go out and find everything bad about her and slander. Like, you shouldn't do what you did to Ocasio-Cortez. You can't underdog her. You can't make her the most evil person ever. Like, you have to treat her respectfully and criticize her where she says something bad, and that's really the best way to take her down, honestly, if you're someone that's very, very pro-Trump and worried about her winning. And honestly, like, I will straight out set my biases if I haven't already. I would prefer a second Trump term over Tulsi Gabbard. I've been researching her more and more lately over the past few days, and it seems like, just in time for this video actually, and it seems that I like Trump more than I like Tulsi Gabbard, just to get my biases out there. Or at least, I don't really align with either of them really on my on an ideological level, but it seems that Tulsi Gabbard and I we have too many disagreements. But I want to emphasize this point, that I think a lot of people dismiss her as like a terrible person or something, no chance of winning. She's too left wing. She's not that far left. Like, she's not really that left wing of a person. From what I've seen, she has kind of shifted to the left. By the people that follow her closely, they let me know that she has kind of shifted to the left more recently, which for me is a bad thing. For a lot of people is a bad thing. If she remains left, then we have nothing to worry about. Then that's pretty much it for her. Like, if she shifts too far to the left, she'll just become another person in the whole midst of things that independents and center-left people aren't going to go for. They're going to go back for Trump again. But I think she might be shifting just for the sake of the election, keeping in mind that she doesn't just have to win the general election, she has to win the Democratic primary, which I think will be pretty much all, like, who hates Trump the most. That's why I imagine the questions will be like, and the first person to say, well, Trump isn't literally Hitler, will be automatically kicked out. So maybe she's moving a bit further to the left, saying more like left-wing things like that, taking up more further left-wing positions just for that. I don't know. That's just a theory I have. I'm not even that confident in it. I don't know if it's true, but that's something to keep in mind. But if she comes back out and pretty much is a strong center-left person, like comes out strong against the far left, I think she is a force to be reckoned with. I think if anyone has a chance of beating Trump, it's her. Even though I think if she is a good candidate, the Democratic Party will completely eliminate her, make sure she has absolutely no chance. But yeah, let me know what you think in the comments section. I'm just waiting for the onslaught of people that attack me for defending Tulsi Gabbard, and the onslaught of people that clicked here because they like Tulsi Gabbard and then found out I'm right wing. I hope, like, give me your honest opinion of her. This video was not meant to be. I know I gave my political opinions, but that was more just to give you my own biases, to make that clear where I stand. And this video is not meant to be is she right? Is she wrong? Is she whatever? I just want to see, what are your honest opinions? Does she have a chance? Is she a threat? Like, am I making this bigger than it really is? Is she something we can just pretty much ignore? I want to know what you think, because it seems like whenever I listen, like whenever I follow the center left circles, the people that are pro Trump, and anti the far left wing, but are at the core still quite progressive and quite left wing, this is the name I hear. This is the person they would vote for and gladly support, which is something to keep in mind. But yeah, let me know what you think in the comments. Like the video if you enjoyed. Subscribe for more. Leave a comment. Seriously, let me know what you think about Tulsi Gabbard's chances. Does this mean anything? And thanks for watching.